To work.
Hey gamers, and welcome to another Ninja Masterclass with me, Shinobi Nando. Today we're going to be doing the Altar of Sorrow, so we can unlock the Pit of Heresy. Now to begin this quest, you have to go back to Eris on the moon, as usual. Speak to her, and she will give you whatever memory that you need for this week. I'm up to Ariana 3, the final one. And if you're doing this during the Festival of the Lost, yes, she will give you more raisins. Thanks, Eris. Once you collected these two, she will give you the next quest step, which is the Deepening Wake. This requires you to do the new public event on the moon, the Altar of Sorrows, up to at least tier 3, open a chest, and kill 20 nightmares. This new activity is very similar to Escalation Protocol, the twist being that it's nightmares instead of Frozen Hive. And you can start this by heading over to the Sorrows Harbor. Fast travel there, and what you're on the lookout for is these two altars that are glowing and one with a giant crystal. Now what's going to happen here is a nightmare is going to regularly spawn and try to make his way from one glowing altar to the next to sacrifice himself for Hasladun, the sister of Crota. Kill this nightmare to begin the Altar of Sorrows public event. The unique mechanics of this public event is that killing enemies, such as thralls, acolytes, and knights, will net you an additional second on the clock, which initially starts with about a minute. If a nightmare sacrifices himself on the altar with the crystal, it will deduct 10 seconds from the clock. All the seconds go, the event will end, and you'll have to start again for the last tier you were successful on. Now, a good strategy we found was to use a hunter with tether and fire it right on the opposite altar where the enemies spawn. Not only will this slow down the nightmare, but you'll get a ton of kills on adds, which will increase your time significantly. Every other tier, there will be a break between the nightmares trying to sacrifice themselves, and X number of wizards will spawn at increasing amounts, where you have to kill a Hive Knight, a Orange Health Hive Knight, to get his sword and take down their shields. Once the shields are off, the wizards will be vulnerable to normal damage, so feel free to use anything else in order to kill it. Just make sure that if you have a sword, that you are taking down the wizard's shield, and don't forget to kill adds to add more time. Now, if you're successful enough to go through enough tiers, I believe it is 7, you will trigger the weekly boss nightmare. The time of recording, the one I got was Fogoth. I assume that every week, one of the bosses from the nightmare hunts will spawn at the Altar of Sorrows, alternating between Dominus, Bull, Crota, etc. The only difference between this and the nightmare hunts is that when they go into their vulnerability phase, normally about quarter or half health, they will spawn additional nightmares that will try to beeline and sacrifice themselves on another altar. You gotta make sure that these nightmares don't sacrifice themselves, or else they'll take another 10 seconds off the clock. Once you've killed all the nightmares, Fogoth will become vulnerable again. Kill him and he'll drop a chest. This week only seems to drop the Blasphemer and a new shotgun. I've ran this a few times with a couple of people and they said the same. All we got is the Blasphemer. And once that's done, you can go back to Eris Morn. Speak to Eris Morn and it will unlock the new dungeon, the Pit of Heresy.
Are afraid. I can smell it. The remains of Crota's court. Those who escaped your strength and my vengeance have sequestered themselves below the surface. Their chants echo across the ascendant plane and beyond it to the realm from which the pyramids fly. You must descend into the moon's depths. Ensure that such an alliance never comes to pass.
Well guys, that's the guide. Thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far, maybe consider subscribing, as we're going to be doing more guides. Be Be sure to check out my collector's edition unboxing for Shadowkeep. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye. Bye.